Fruity. Thank you for the bubble, friend. Have you considered being faster? Just a thought. No, sup? How's it going? How are you doing? How are things? We're starting a smidge late. Not too terribly late. My shoulder is killing me today, and I don't know what I did to hurt it or to make it so upset with me, but I had to go roll around on a tennis ball for a minute to try and, like, loosen it up a little bit, and it helped some, but it's still just really sore. And it sucks, but it's fine. It's like under, like, back and behind my shoulder blade, so I can't exactly, like, rub it, because it's too far down, but then it's also, like, I don't know, it's weird. It's not great, but it's fine. We'll make it work. So excuse me if you just see me, like, rocking in my chair every once in a while. I'm trying to stretch my shoulders while I'm sitting here. You know how it goes. But yeah, hi, welcome. We're gonna do Vampyr tonight. I think I've got everything set up that I need to. I'm a little distracted, but that's okay. Oh, I'm doing it bad. Say I have everything set up, and then I do it bad. Hey, game? There you are. Now, sound. Now sound? Sound now. There it is! Oh, right. Man died. What happened last time? We met the sewer skulls, and I love them. And I want to protect them by any means necessary. Old Bridget, very good. Sean Hampton, not so great. I was feeling okay about him for a little bit, after not feeling okay about him, and then we got back to not feeling great about him. But that's okay. We let him live for the time being. And if he fucks up, if he eats anybody, or he hurts someone, we'll come and do a chomp on him. Simple as that. And then this dude got yeeted off the roof, and he had our mother's brooch, I think is what happened. I think that's a fairly succinct summary of what happened last time. We talked to Ichabod, and he said that he saw the guy get thrown off the roof. I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, but we haven't talked to the sisters yet. So let's do it. Let's just do it. Let's go. Did you see what happened?
Did you see what just happened?
No, I didn't. And I don't care.
Really?
Okay.
Why is that?
Because this sexist pig is one of the 4 men who blacklisted me. Good riddance, if you ask me.
Oh! Okay,
well,
then...
I'll leave you for now. Goodbye, Miss Paxton.
She really just had nothing to say about this entire...
Glad to see you again, Mr. Reed.
Hi, ma'am.
Did you see what happened?
No. I was coming back to the shelter from work when I
close my
heard
window
an
real fast.
awful scream, and there was this man, dead, just in front of the building.
You saw nothing at all?
No.
Also...
I told you, just that awful woman's scream.
A
Good
woman's
shirt.
scream? Are you sure?
Of course. It was terrifying. I thought it
Got the
was my
screwy
sister,
shirt.
so I
I
ran.
love it.
But it was a man I've never seen round here before.
Random man. Does she have anything more to say about her sister? Nope. Apparently they haven't talked. I think I fucked that. You didn't notice? It's... Screwy says eat more screws! That's a good shirt. I had laundry I had to do yesterday.
Goodbye.
So I washed it with all my laundry, which meant I could wear it today. And I was very excited. Eat all of the screws! It's very good. Good shirt is good. Okay, there is a hideout over here. I need to level up. We got nearly 3,000 points to spend. Hi, Devo. Gotta eat all those screws. Gotta do it. Okay, where? Oh, it's on the other side. Oh, it's over there. Can I open this? It's been unlocked! Fantastic. This is where we need to go. The terrible flashing. I'm so sorry. That man is dead. Hey, sir? Can you kindly put your body not in here? We need to make some things. We really badly need to make some things. I also need to disassemble things because I forgot to do that last time. Okay. Good handle parts. Devo, you having fun scratching that? Is it good? Let's go ahead and level everything up. What do we have here? Improved velocity. Which is selected? This one. This one's the selected one, right? Oh. Oh. No, I want the reload time. Rate of fire, add 5 stun points. Stun points, please! I did not like this pistol. It's a semi-automatic. I was not pleased with it. What is that, 20 stun? Common stick only goes up to level 2, though. Now it's better. Okay. I should have thought to take care of all the leveling up beforehand, but you know, whatever. It fine. You can see what things I choose. Okay. We've got... I'm constantly complaining about my stamina. 1,000 is the next level up. That's so much. That's double the endurance that we started with, though. So... give me the blood cauldron. Oh, is that what I want? Yeah. Yeah, it is. I do want blood cauldron. I would like to boil the blood of folks. Can we... Let's big thirst? Let's big thirst. Be very thirsty. I don't think that there's anything else that I can get. No, there is. There is. Let's do more damage when we do bites in combat. I'm happy with that. That'll be good. Got the achievement Anarchy in the UK. Christian faith or cults. What is immortality? Having your name inscribed in history, raising children who will honor your memory, earning your place among the saints of heaven. Sean Hampton, founder of the Hampton Asylum East End, has his opinion on the matter. eternity comes to those who bear divine presence in themselves. Mr. Hampton, also known as the Sad Saint for his unequaled empathy towards others, and his constant pity for their plight, has created with his asylum a haven for lost souls. Keeps the poor fed and gives them a roof to sleep under. Still, the asylum has now been closed for a few days, and his last accessible orations took a turn towards cult-like worship. Heresy can be defined as a faith gone adrift. Sean Hampton and his flock may have been turned into heretics. For the first time since I have known the Sad Saint, people speak ill of him, and the mysterious chants heard through the closed doors of the shelter worry more than they encourage. As a possible consequence of the suspicion, the sanitary situation of the docks has drastically decreased. Deprived of a place to rest, the poor get sick from sleeping rough, preferring to catch their death under the stars than join an unknown cult that alone says enough of the tarnished reputation of the Sad Saint. Reputation that will be restored only when the doors of his asylum open once again. Fuck, we chose bad. Okay. Alright, well... that sounds like a thing that we got to address. Western docks are hostile to us. Since when? Got events I gotta check out. I chose so bad. Is this... wait. Is this not the direction we went to get to... the shelter? I am concerned. Whoop.
What on earth happened here?
Okay, well, we did it very bad. Fuck. Well, I'm not particularly happy about that situation. Oh! That man just blew up! But also, we've done it so bad here. I need to not have my gun. I should have gone with my gut. I should have gone with my gut and I should have killed Sean. Okay, well, lesson learned. This just means we gotta go eat that arson priest even faster before he decides to do a big ol' murder on a bunch of folks. It's not great. Very not great. I'm like genuinely upset. What happened to the sisters? Where is everyone else? What has happened here? Oh, buddy. don't do a chomp on me. I just want to do a chomp on you, okay? Bud. I am distressed and upset, and nothing is good. In fact, it's all quite bad. Buddy, stop! Okay. It's gonna be a rough start. It's gonna be a rough start. What happened to... Why... I just need to know what's going on. We need to find out what's happening. There's too much going on already. Please, game. Hey, game? Do you want to load? Wants to really think about it. Let's do a chomp. I should probably kill them all out here, where I'm not going to be nearly as surrounded. Bud, you didn't even hit me. Okay, that's one taken care of. Bro. Stop! I'm not a high enough level to handle these guys, and that's obnoxious. I am annoyed. I just want to find out what's going on. I just want to know what's happening here. I've been asleep for like 10 hours. And all of a sudden the entire district is just bad. Nothing but frustration. And these loads take so long. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's look at the map. Let's get rid of the stupid custom markers. There are so many events that I have to take care of. I'm gonna put custom markers on all of them, and I'm going to instantly regret it. Oh, I can only do 2. Okay, let's... Oh, there's stuff at the hospital that I have to take care of too. I don't think it's the headaches! I don't think the headaches caused this problem! Look, even doctors need sleep, okay? I just want to know what happened. Why did Sean flip out, like, overnight?
This is not the place.
Come here. I can kill you. You're level 17. You're nothing. Ow. I just need to fill up my blood gauge. And then we can do stuff. Okay. I hear boys fighting skulls down there. And they can keep doing that.
Crush the leech, boys!
Hello. Get away from me! Stop! Okay. sucks my blood stuff. It's not great. Stop stabbing! Stop stabbing me, please, and thank you. Okay. Handled. For now, what's... Is the event happening under, like, below me? It sounds like he's making noises, but he's dead. Okay. That's fine. Hey. Hey, Jonathan? Do you wanna jump down? Do you wanna hop down? There's stuff happening down here. You should hop down. Stop being out of reach. Is this... Sometimes. They sometimes make noises. I think that lady knows what she's talking about. I guess I just want to know what's happening, like, anywhere. It said that there was an event happening here.
Giselle's stolen money.
Okay, there we go.
Everyone has some unethical ways of financing that.
Lottie, no!
Blood down to the last drop.
Well, shit. Alright, so Sean has turned everyone in the asylum into scowls. She's got a real bad headache. She's might peckish as well. This is extremely unfortunate. This is literally like worst case scenario. I need to go to the left. That's where the asylum is. I don't think I'm prepped to handle that though. Everything there is like level 20 plus. I'm only level 15. I'm just a soft boy. I want to go see old Bridget though. This is you really just mucked things up. Honestly. Stop. Man, I was like completely content just walking past you. Minding my own dang business. Not doing anything bad, but no, you gotta fight me. I don't want it. I don't want to fight you, man. I got other shit I gotta pay attention to. Alright, buddy? Now look. Oh, hi. You're right in front of me. I just wail on him so he can't gas me. Bud, you weren't even aiming at me! I'm, like, genuinely distressed about this situation. Not this situation, but the asylum problem? Like... I knew I should have chomped him, but I was trying to be a good person. Note to self, never try to be a good person. It's not worth it.
See them fancy clothes? Die, vermin!
Yeah? Okay. So yeah, we're never gonna be a nice person in video games ever again. It's not worth it. I tried. I failed. I got a whole district just fucked up. That kind of sucks. I was trying. It's fine. Let's see what's going on over here. Even the Limehouse dock is hostile. What the fuck? This is so many districts. Sean! My guy! He's done it so bad! I don't know where I'm going. I'm just going. Like, I think he oversees some of the area here, but like, this is wild. How am I supposed to get out of here? That's not what I wanted to do, but okay. How do I get there? Right? We gotta do a chomp on everyone now. Everything here is, like, way too strong for me. I can't fight here. Can I go through this? I have to beat the enemies first before I can go through a gate, right? Fucking hell. To be perfectly honest, I think Sean's beaten us to everyone. I think everyone has been scallified. Oh my god, okay, well... That just completely missed. Perfect, love that. Please, please, back up. Oh, that's... no. Okay, they're like super weak to the blood stuff, which is great. Fuck, I like ran right into him. Can we not, sirs? Let's get a chomp going. Let's heal up as well. Fuck. Okay, okay. Boy, howdy. Bun's back. Welcome back, Bunno. Hi, hi, hi. Everything is bad here. We've done it very bad, and it's not great. Stop. Stop. There's like 3 whole districts that are completely hostile to us. Everyone's been turned into skulls, and I don't know how to fix it. I don't think I can. And we're extremely distressed about it. It's fine. Cause so last time we let Sean Hampton, the sad saint, live. Because like I was concerned that if I didn't, that everyone would be left out on the streets and not be able to like take care of themselves, but by letting him live, He like shut the asylum down and turned everyone into ghouls. And so now they're all trying to do a murder on me. But I can't get into the asylum to like confront Sean. Because everything is way too high of a level in there for me to handle right now. So it's great. We got it. We got we're doing fantastic. We're not. So we're gonna check on all the events in town, because there are a lot of them that we need to figure out. Oh, stop. Stop. Please. Sir. So yeah. Good, great fun. I don't need to do that. He can just die. I'm full on blood. We have enough blood in us. Hey! A district that doesn't hate me. I don't know that they... So they really do, they might want a hug. I'm trying to think of how to words, and it's not working well. They might need a hug, but issue is, their hugs are deadly. I would like to come out of the situation in one piece, preferably. But yeah, everything's a little rough right now. I want to get up there? Is this the way to go? God, everywhere over here just not good. Is this the way I want to head? It is. Okay, what's going on over here? Why is the music all dramatic? Oh. What level are you? Dyson, no! He was the alcoholic I was supposed to check in on. Oh boy. Okay, he's strong against blood attacks, so don't waste any of those on him. We are checking on him now.
Drink.
Okay, we save all of our blood attacks for me. Oh, everything is just like gone tits up so quickly. Dyson, my man.
I've killed one lot.
Stop. Stop. Fucking hell. How? How am I supposed to do anything? But was it worth it? It might have been good science, but I don't know that it was science that was worth the sacrifice. But definitely, anyone that I'm like even remotely suspicious of, we gotta do an eat. We gotta chomp on him immediately. No more No more letting people just... Are you shitting me? No, okay, we're back here. Okay. Oh, I thought it put me back where, like, the asylum was, and I was gonna be extremely upset if I had to do all of that again. It's fine. I thought there were rats here? Right? Like, I mean... It annoys me, so it annoys me. Because it made it seem like... That article that we read made it sound like this was had been going on for days. To which it's like, Jonathan, how fucking long did you sleep, my dude? This doesn't seem right. Like, I wish that I had been kind of clued in on that. I don't think I do need to sleep for, like, you know, 4 days at a time. I'm upset at myself. I'm upset at myself for having let this happen. I should have known better. Fucking hell. Just wail on the sewer man.
No more guilt. I'm finally free.
Sure, whatever you say, buddy. I need to do a chomp on you. I need you to stop moving for a minute. No, no. Fuck. Fuck! Okay. Right? Just like... Man, you did it bad. Stop. 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 Bad dog. You can be free all you want. I need you to just back up a little bit, okay? Okay, 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 we did it, we did it. I need Jonathan to stop.
Listen, Linda. Listen.
For real though. Listen. Listen. I'm trying to do a thing. Listen. I was gonna try and help him, but no, we can't. I mean, like, at this point... At this point, the whole of London is probably just, like, fucked. That didn't give me any health, did it? Shit. I also wish that leveling up didn't necessarily make me go to bed. Is that all that was here? Yeah. Okay. Okay. We need to go talk to Lady Ashbury and Dr. Swansea. We need to... I mean, honestly, like, the whole south portion of this fucking town, basically from the North Docks down, set it all on fire. Look, the Thames has to be, like, dirty enough that if we set a fire, it will also catch on fire, right? Like, yeah, I'm leaving. This isn't where I wanted to be. Don't worry, sir. I'm going. I just, like, I am somewhat in denial. I'll be very upfront about that. I'm just like, I'm shook, honestly, at how far-reaching letting Sean just exist was. Like, I do understand that, like, he had ties to a lot of the docks in general, but, like, to have it be, like, legit 3-4 different districts that are affected and, like, completely turned hostile is just wild. This isn't healing me. I need heals. Yum, 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 yum. Is me just giving, I'm blowing raspberries on the rat bellies? I used to have rats. I would like to get rats again. But I had a Rex, which are the little nakey rats. And he was great, and I would give him raspberries all the time, and he loved it. Rats are adorable and precious, and they're perfect, and anyone who says otherwise is wrong. Travis, thank you for the bubble. I don't know where else to go at this point. I want to do all the stuff at the Western Docks, but it's not going to be fantastic because by the time that I go to sleep and I level up, like, I'll probably be fucked, and then I can't handle that situation because it'll be worse. So we gotta go do it? Oh. Well, hey. Oh, fuck. I also don't understand why I can't teleport while I've got aggro. Like, let me just phase on over here. Please. So I don't know how long this game is. But it's fine. I'm fine. But I feel like another playthrough might be necessary. Just to not beans it up as bad as we have. 'Cause, oh boy, did we beans it up. Okay. Let's do a couple of chomps and get our health back up. It's not really healing me as much as I would like it to. Please. Please. It was going so well on Monday, and now everything's fucked. Well, hopefully everyone else's night is going much better than literally everyone's in these districts that I've destroyed. Oh no. Oh no. Hi, Llama.
Sorry, sir, no admittance. Step away.
Fruity, no. Fruity, not you too. How could Sean do this to us? I trusted him. I didn't trust him. Please, I'm stuck in the corner. Please, I'm stuck in the corner. Fuck off. Not you too, but No! I wish that lunge attack couldn't hit me from anywhere. Just like everywhere. Honestly, I'm more surprised when it doesn't get me. Please! I would like to go past you. Yeah, no, if we didn't trust him, it just turned out exceptionally worse than we thought. Again, I figured they would probably, like, drop some hints that things were starting to go south if it did. I didn't expect them to be like, yeah, no, half of your map is just unnavigatable now. But no, secretly vampire forever. Fuck. Okay.
This is not a place.
I'm not bothering you, man. Was that...
For you, sir. Are you deaf?
I'm minding my own damn business. Oh, absolutely. Oh no! Drawing blood from the back of your hand is the worst. Just anything with needles in your hand, not great. Oh no. Confirmed vampire. It's understandable why you wouldn't like it. It's not great. Okay, actually get out. Fucking hell. Fuck off! Yeah, that's the real question. Bunno, do you have cottage cheese blood? That further confirms that vampires have cottage cheese blood. We had our conjecture. We hypothesized a little bit. Now it's been confirmed. Oh goodness. Oh boy. You shouldn't have.
Sorry, sir, no admittance. Don't come no closer.
Wait. Giselle is there as a... As a scowl?
Die, vermin!
Bro, are you not gonna... Whoa, whoa! Okay, so she just hates us now. Why? Why is everything so bad? Why is it all so bad? Okay, so Lottie's a scout, but Giselle is a pre-win guard? What? I just want to get to the asylum. That's all. That's all I'm trying to do.
No place for a gentleman. Hey! Don't come no closer!
I'm not gonna be able to take them. can't get in that way. Did I really? Okay. Well, we managed to scooch past everybody. That's cool. I need to get in there. How do I get in there? Nothing is great. How am I gonna tell Edgar? Our boyfriend's not gonna be happy. Okay, nope, leave me alone, buddies. Don't joke of such things. I would be extremely sad. Please no. We kill the new boyfriend. Obviously. Obviously the only answer is to kill the new boyfriend. Thank you, Bono. I'm glad you've got our back. Get away from me! Stop. Stop. Stop! That took so much fucking help! My God! Oh. Okay, okay. Alright, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We gotta confirm that there's a new boyfriend first before we fully plan a murder. You know? Stop. Stop. Stop! Stop! My goodness. Okay. Alright. Everything is so bad. I know I keep saying it. We've been at this for an hour. I've just been trying to get in here for an hour. We're gonna wait here for a minute while my health fully regenerates. I'll take a drink because my throat is very dry. I have been whining too much, and that's not great. Okay, let's go ahead and trip a boy. Stop, stop, stop. Okay. Handled. Not even a problem. Oh, if he could stop screeching out there, that would be awesome. I would really appreciate that. He's not gonna. He's gonna keep doing it. Oh.
It's locked.
Excuse me. I stand corrected. I would love to have a crafting table. So I could, make some new, some more medicine? This isn't great. Jesus Christ, Sean! What the fuck, Sean? Sean, what the hell, my man? Why? Why? Sean, you've done it so bad. No, it's not a lovely work of art. I fucking told this man that he could live as long as he didn't fucking hurt any of the people that were here. And what did he fucking do? He went and murdered and pillaged and burned and impaled all of the poor, sad... Fucking Sean! You had one job! Also, hi, Emmy. Welcome. I am upset. For real! I didn't ask much! Just don't kill the people staying at your asylum! That's all! What the fuck, Sean? Carl! That kills people! Officially welcome, Travis. Sean! Shh, you hear that? That's the sound of Jesus Christ our Lord. No, Sean! That's the sound of people dying! Sean happened! Fucking Sean Hampton happened! I'm never letting anyone live ever again. They set off any sort of indication of being weird or uncomfy or potentially heretical. I'm going to do a fucking murder on them. That's just, it's decided. Sean is doing some terrible, I'm turning everyone into skulls. I've made 7 districts hostile, officially. No one lives, we're all monsters now. Fucking Sean! Sorry. Fucking Sean! Sean is significantly a higher level than I am. I'm gonna boil your fucking blood! Oh my god, don't do a chomp on me, Sean! Fucking Sean! You absolute shithead! I'm sorry, did you heal? I'm genuinely upset about this whole fucking situation. Like, going through the 7 stages of grief over here. It wasn't his accent! It was literally because he was trying to help other people, and I was like... I was so concerned. I even laid it out as to why I didn't want to kill him, because I was afraid that if I did, then none of these people would have a place to sleep, and now it doesn't fucking matter! Because I'm back here again! He was the only one giving a shit about these poor disenfranchised people, and I believed him. It's every white liberal ally that ever existed. I just... I'm just so hurt and upset. Mostly because I trusted him. I didn't trust him, but I gave him a chance. And he took advantage of it and got greedy and decided that what I was allowing wasn't enough. He needed more. He needed more than what I offered, and now we're here. Now I've died like 20 times trying to get into this fucking asylum so I could kill him. Long and short of it, don't trust people. That's the moral of the story here. You shouldn't trust people. Fucking hell. never trust anyone, ever. They'll tell you they're gonna open a shelter for people who need it, and then they're gonna turn all those people into flesh-eating monsters. And then when you go to confront them, they'll just screech at you. I'm not gonna bring Throgmorton along. Throgmorton will die. Ichabod will die. I mean, he's not technically a cannibal because he's a skull, but, I mean, he was eating people. He was eating people. He did do a chomp on a person. What is that cannibalism if he's not human? Stop hitting me, you piece of absolute trash. I mean, sure, he's humanoid, but does it count? Stop. 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 Why do you hit so fucking hard? I'm gonna use my fucking gun. We're gonna use a gun. We're gonna get in here, we're gonna use a gun. I'm gonna use a gun. It's time to use a gun. I think the most frustrating part of this whole situation is the fact that I have to sit here for like a minute in a loading screen. I can do a shrimp check. We can do a shrimp check. We can do a shrimp check. Thank you, Emmy. Also, thank you for the bubble, Travis. No, stop. Stop. Why are the buttons so dumb? It's what we're here for. Fuck off. Fuck off! Of course you're gun resistant. You're not, though. Bro. He healed! Stop! Stop! Part of the trouble is that I could leave the area.
A body has been discovered.
Don't appreciate that. It's not wrong. The trouble is, even if I try to leave, it's a struggle to leave. So I'm just stuck in a stupid district, and I can't go anywhere, and I can't do anything. I hate it. I hate Sean. I can do a cooldown. We can do a short compilation. I'm just frustrated at Sean and his stupidness. Why did he have to be so fucking dumb? Why is Google so large? It's been a thing for ages. It's been there. It's been a thing. Oh. I don't need a 27-minute one. I don't even need a 15-minute one. You're dope. Sorry. Devo, I need you to stop. I need you to stop, Devo. Let's just go with that. We don't have to watch all of it.
Ah! Stop! I could have dropped my croissant!
We're about to graduate.
What the fuck is up, Kyle? No, what did you say? What the fuck, dude? Step the fuck up, Kyle.
Look at this graph! It's one of my favorites. That's one of my favorites.
And they were roommates.
Oh my God, they were roommates.
You just drop in and just smack the lip. Whoa. Drop down. Snap. Ah!
Is there anything better than pussy?
Yes, a really good book.
Whoa! Hurricane Katrina! More like Hurricane Tortilla.
Do you ever like wake up or do something and you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
What's good, bro? You don't know me. You don't. What is good? You don't know. You don't know me. You don't know me.
Road work ahead. Yeah, I
I
sure,
sure hope
it
it does.
We all die. You either kill yourself or get killed.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
I have something to tell.
All right. good Vine comps. Anything else we want to look at? We're talking about rats. I'd like to look at some pet rats. No, I don't. I don't feel better. Because I have to get back into the situation. And I have to go deal with Sean and his stupid choices. Look at their little faces. Look at their face. Look at the oof, 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 oof. Look at their oh. It's just Let me just make noises while I look at these dumb babies. I miss having pet rats. They're cool kids. Get the actual photo of me when I have rats. Just come here. Come here. Come here. Mama, come here! Please. I need to do a thing with you. Just But Lami is a rat. Hi. Okay, thank you for coming here. Okay. Alright. Oh, that rat didn't look great. Ugh. What else do we got? Look at the little ball sacks! Look at them! That's what my boy looked like. You gotta! They're very great. I love wrinkly babies. Oh! Oh! That's not what I wanted to do. Oh! Oh! I love the wrinkly rats. I had a wrinkly rat. What's up, Arcade? How's it going? Look at the... Oh. Oh. He was peeking. He was like, oh, hello? Hi. And this one's just like, hi, I'm here. I'm being cute. Fucking hell. They're good ears. They're very good ears. That's a Dumbo, and they're sweet. I also had Dumbos. I had Dumbos and Rexes, and little hooded babies, and one time I had 8 rats at once, and they were great. Oh, look at them! That's a mouse. But they're still very cute. That's still cute. That's a cute rodent. Okay. Alright. Okay. Shall we hop back over here? Let's wait a minute. Let's wait a minute? Let's actually wait a minute. I'm gonna use the restroom. And then we'll do the thing. We'll leave the district and we'll go do something else because Sean is too high a level for me right now and I hate it. But it is what it is. So, we'll be right back, y'all. Hi, Cyril. I'm glad you had fun at the cabin. I was gonna do a thing where I was like, I showed it off earlier, but check it out. Good shirt came in today. Well, yesterday. It came in yesterday, but I've been wearing it today and it's great. Remember to eat your screws, guys. Okay? Okay. Okay. Good. Eat those screws. Guess you gotta play Cemetery Mary to find out. Don't worry about it. It's Screwy the Screw. I don't see why you're confused about it. Just Screwy. Come on. Come on. You know Screwy. Go, Screwy. Travis, you weren't supposed to say nothing. Yeah, everyone knows Screwy the Screw. But yeah, good stuff. I've been very much enjoying it. It's been a weird fucking day. What a weird fucking week, let's be real. Stop hurting me, sir. Yeah, good art, good story. Fun wild time was had by all. Would recommend. Me shamelessly plugging Arcade Kitten stuff. Let's go. Hey. Hey, do you want to stop blocking? Oh, I forgot I have a gun out! I was expecting to stake a boy. Oh, that'd be fun. That would be fun. But only if Cyril's up for it. Okay, let's... Cosplay of Screwy! Could look into it. I could look into it! It could happen! Stop! My guy! Oh, everything is scary. Yeah, I mean, it's 100% doable. I can make it happen. I mean, he's gotta have the wide arms so he can grab all the screws. You know how it is. Stop. This man. Please? Please, though? I need a screwy route. Okay. Okay, please. Look, we love Reggie here in this chat. He's our boy, but Screwy's my my all-time favorite character ever. Oh fucking hell. A playthrough has Screwy. Please. Please. Why are we like this? I'd like to imagine that that route would literally just be from the perspective of the poster. So you just like see Mary and Reggie in the hardware store. And it's just that whole thing. Fucking hell. Okay. Scream with Reggie's hair, please. Stop. I can't. Oh no. Oh boy. Oh boy. We're really twisting this one, aren't we? Oh my goodness. Okay. Can we... I know I said I was gonna leave this area, and that was me not leaving the area. I beansed it up. I imagine Screwy would be a really good, would be really good at listening to people and helping them with some stuff, you know? Also Travis. Okay, we have got to go back to the hospital, so I need to head off to the left. We need to not be where everything is hostile. Yeah? Yeah. I just want to leave, guys. Y'all. I think I've gone the wrong way. I think I've done it bad. Okay, maybe I haven't. Never mind. I'm upset that we've done it so dang bad.
Fuck, it's false. He's dead.
Do I want to take this boy on? Not really, but here we are, doing it anyway. Stop. Let's get a chomp on in here. He is very resistant to our blood stuff. Sup, Sam? How's it going? No, stop that. Fuck. Fucking hell! Okay, let's get one more chomp going. Because I need to do an eat. Okay, alright. So many friends in chat today. How's everyone doing? I know I asked way earlier, but let's ask again. How's everybody? How are you, my friends? Boop. Please. My guy. I'm stuck on the pole. Okay. Fun times. That ass though. Probably a good call. Any sort of self-care you can do, right? This is the wrong way. Oh no. No, this is the correct way. Hi, sir. I would like to just walk through. I'm not here! Don't even mind me! Please? This is the way I want to go. This doesn't look like the way I want to be. Right? I'm just lost. Just let me through. You're not too late. It's fine. Not the greasy glow. Not the greasy glow.
Steady, boys.
Hey, I don't want to look, I don't want to be a bother or anything for anyone here. I would like to just go. Just let me through.
29 Pretty Orchard Street. This is it. What's in there for me?
Everything. We're stealing everything. All right, let's get back to the main quest. Forgot I have vampire sense. Jesus! That's a lot of blood. I'm still just extremely salty about that Sean situation. Fucking Sean. I gave him a chance and he ruined it. I would do a murder on him, but I'm not strong enough yet. Steal all the things. Okay, and then that's not what I want. Blood. Went through the window.
Was shattered with violent force. Someone's been pulled through it and dragged through the street. Who could have done that?
We painted the Pretty Orchard red. That's what happened. No, so this is the house of the guy that got yeeted off of the roof that Ichabod saw. Ichabod Throgmorton. And we're trying to figure out why he got yeeted and also why he had our mother's brooch. I don't remember what level we needed to be to eat the writer. I want to say it was either 3 or 5. We are technically level 3 in mesmerism. So we could, but I'd have to find him first.
Sir, step away. Get their weapons ready. We found one.
Okay. My guy. Stop shooting me. Okay. If he's level 3, then we can do a chomp on him. I am trying to heal! But I have to find him, and I don't want to, because he's, like, on the complete opposite side of the map. I just want to do something productive today. That's all. I just want to be somewhat productive in this fucking game. The last couple of sessions have been really great. And then this one wasn't. Because Sean went and killed everybody. I can't even go say hi to old Bridget. I just want to say hi to old Bridget. That's all. Okay. I hate this map so much.
I cannot enter.
Then, Jonathan, how are we supposed to get there? Oh, I gotta go back through the house. Okay. Okay. Alright, I see. Can we unlock that gate? Don't think so.
It's locked.
Everything is locked.
It's locked, all right.
Go back home, idiot!
You go back home. You go back home.
This one's a top!
Do and eat. Bruh. Okay. I would like this man to leave. And I would like for this guy to stop stabbing me, please, and thank you. There we go. We can do this. It's fine. We got it handled. We are getting a lot of experience, which is nice.
You're surprising. Occasionally, you make a good point.
Wasn't as great as I was hoping it would be. But that's okay. I don't like them. Okay, let's get a neat on. A chomp, a chomp, a chomp. Stop. And then I would like these men with fire to go away. Really, I would like this stupid priest man to leave me alone, because honestly, stop!
Be strong, brothers!
That's not the button I wanted to hit. Oh, there's a lady in that tree. Stop! Let's boil his blood a little bit. Yeah? Oops. Oops. Yeah, the blood boil, very good. It practically takes up all of my blood, which is unfortunate. However, it's very good, because if it does enough damage to outright kill the enemy, they will just explode. And it's great. It's a lady tree.
The marks on
Doesn't
this
everyone have a
woman's
lady
neck
tree?
were made by the fangs of a vampire.
I love me a lady tree. The flower?
This is the very flower my mother tossed on Mary's coffin.
Is it?
Someone is targeting my family.
I mean, how can you tell? Does it have her name on it? Let's search the pockets.
Only a golden watch in her pockets.
Ow. Take the watch. Beautiful watch. Nice golden watch found in the pocket of a woman killed by an unidentified vampire. Oh, wake her up, she's sleeping.
Her
Hey,
shoes
ma'am.
and clothes are quite
Hey, ma'am.
worn out.
Oh no. Hi!
Right then. It's a sick game. But given no choice in the matter.
Was that our sister? That kind of looked like our sister. Hey, I think that was our sister. I don't know if it was old Bridget. Right? It's not like we were hiding or anything. Of course you can see me, darling. I'm here. I appreciate the vote of confidence in regards to me being good at hiding things. Thanks. Thanks. Okay, where's the lady? Ma'am! Hey, ma'am! Whoop! Hello? We gotta loot stuff? Obviously. Looting is important. Can we...
Jonathan.
What was that?
It's definitely our sister. Who turned her into a
I
vampire?
won't let you escape.
Because it wasn't us. We didn't let her drink our blood.
You're very fast, but I'll catch you.
I did kill her. I seen it. I saw it. I was there. I witnessed it. Oh, that's a good question. When did her turning occur? Oh. Before or after we did a nom? Ma'am? Oh, hey, we're at the cemetery!
Butchered.
We didn't mean to kill our sister. We woke up in, not in a mass grave, but basically where they were just, like, storing all the bodies for the time being. And as we were waking up, we were just in our vampire vision and couldn't see anything, and we just saw that there was a lady in front of us and holding us, and we were like, oh, I'm so fucking hungry! And then we did a chomp on her, and then as we came to, we realized it was our sister. It was an accident. I think these districts need a little more levity. They haven't been listening to our puns, basically.
I can still sense a presence.
Yeah, it's your sister, dummy. Let's go. Let's find her. Sacrifices had to be made. Look, I was peckish. I was hungry, and she was there. And sometimes you just gotta do a snack. You gotta take a snack on the go. How do I get up there? I guess I should probably just follow the bodies. I'm talking to you. I just heard someone yelling for help. Yeah, basically. Hey, are you alright?
You! What have you done?
Not Mr. Larrabee.
What happened? Demon! Hell
Where's the
scourge!
bee?
There's a bee?
Vicar. Jonathan's no demon. He's
Hi,
just
Mary.
a soul. Returned from the dead. Like your Christ, Vicar.
Oof.
Mary,
This is
really you?
gonna be bad.
Oh, it's me, all right. Precious brother.
What is Mother doing here?
I'm gathering the family for a final reunion. All smiling, all dead. Thanks to the good Dr. Reed.
Mary.
Mother, say hello to your son.
Hello, Jonathan.
Mother,
What do we have here, Mother? The prodigal son has lost his tongue.
Oh, this is not
Jonathan
great.
always had the first and last word at dinner. The entertainer, the star of our show.
I'm sorry. Let me explain.
Shut up. It's my turn to do the talking. I have this nasty hole in my chest, Johnny. It needs to breathe.
Of course. You can speak.
My prayers went so long without an answer. My husband, killed in France. My child, carried away by the flu.
Yikes.
My brother promising to return in his letters, then disappearing in thin air. I went from hospital to hospital. Cemetery to cemetery. Grave to grave. I've lifted every stone in London, searching for an end to the nightmare. And there you were, in front of me, on a dark pier.
The hunger had taken me.
The joy to have finally found you. I longed for your arms, a final happy ending to so much tragedy, to tell me all would be well again, as you did when we were children.
And instead you got a chop!
It was this filthy dock where you greeted your sister. I dug a tunnel from my grave with my fingers and teeth.
Mary. I thought I had murdered you. I tried to end
It's our
myself.
sister that we murdered.
We've been through the same horror.
It's fine.
We are a disease, Jonathan. A sickness that corrupts all it touches. All we kiss, and all we kill. Look at me. Admire your ilk.
Sisters.
I'm so
Oh, okay.
Apologies will not suffice. I demand reparation. I want a miracle.
Well, I can't give you that,
I'm a
ma'am.
miracle worker, Dr. Reed.
By far, no! Absolutely
No?
not!
I'll show you mine then.
Oh my god, have I...
Reed.
Mary,
Reunited
honey,
with
I
Reed.
have
Living
fucked
forever
some shit
in the
up.
sea of eternal love. Time to go, Mother.
Oh no.
Say hello to my son for
Mary,
me.
wait. I have made friends with vital knowledge. Vampires. We are not alone, Mary. With time, we can learn to live almost as we lived before.
How long?
What?
How long will this masquerade continue? I've been watching you. All these nights in Whitechapel, pretending you're still a doctor. You believe you're just fighting a disease. But it's you, the disease. Jonathan, you!
I'm a scientist. I'll find a solution. Let our mother go, please.
You're always the one to sway me to reason, Jonathan. But before, your motivations were always pure. Now you're tainted.
Yikes.
Let her go.
Listen, Linda. Listen.
She's not gonna listen.
Have you heard our good doctor? You can go home, Mother. Go home and rest in peace.
Listen, Mary, listen.
Yes, I'll go home.
Listen. It is all Sean's
It's
fault.
so easy to make them obey or forget. Puppets for our pleasure. I've seen you have your fun.
You are mad.
So that's what I am, Doctor. Mad. I was beginning to wonder. I've been hearing these voices in my head. One in particular, that of my dead brother. This is the reason I must kill you. Not for your betrayal. Not for our poisonous kiss. Not even for the lies you tell yourself.
Sam, no!
No. It's so that smooth and wicked voice will stop ringing in my ear.
Oh.
Mary. No, don't!
Time to die, brother.
Oh,
and
fuck.
This time for good. Left me to rot in this grave.
Ow! Stop! Not the puns already!
Something had been discovered!
Whoa! Whoa! Ma'am! Well, that was unfortunate. We did it so bad. Also, no, not eating. Not eating. Our sister hits hard. Don't tell Mom, you're fine. I did do a little eat. Don't tell Mom. Oh no. Dougie! What's up, friend? How's it going? Do we really have to do this again? Okay. Oh good, we don't. Okay, Mary. Hey, Mary. Hey. Hey, sis. Hey, sissy. Hey, sister. Hey, sis? It happens. I'm not even concerned. Don't even worry about it. You know what? I'd find her a lot more attractive if she wasn't trying to, like, kill me. Like, if it was me, cool, whatever, let's go. Fucking do a murder on me, ma'am. But I don't want to die as Jonathan here to my sister. You know? I'm not gonna give her a little kiss! I don't want to. Siblings are the worst. Genuinely. Actually, can we equip the gun? Equip the gun. Stop. 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 Stop.
What have you done?
We have to be there for Edgar. What the fuck?
Spared the precious nurse Crane, but not your own Mary.
Travis! Shoot. I am not feeling it this session. It's just been all bad the whole time. And it's really unfortunate. We've just fucked everything up. We fucked it all up. Everything's bad. Also, I don't like that when I use my resources, like, during a fight and I die, those resources stay, like, used.
Help me, please.
Slayer.
It's just extremely unfortunate. I mean, I could, but it's not really gonna help because I'll still have to go to sleep. I mean, this one it'll be fine with, but I'm still just extremely concerned that, like, I'm not gonna be able to rectify the Sean situation if I go to bed, which I will have to go to bed in order to level up. And it's just unfortunate across the board. Everything's just...
You're doing amazing, Freddy.
Thanks. Can we... Thank you for the biddy, Sam. It's fine. I can figure it out. I just wish it weren't quite as ridiculous as it currently is, you know?
Abomination.
Let's boil our blood a little bit.
Kiss me.
Back out of the bad. No.
Assassin.
Man, if you could stop making the entire area blow up with blood vomit, that would be cool. Okay, let's... I mean, I'm gonna be sad no matter what, just because it's a shitty situation. We fucked up with Sean. And everything's just hard. It's fine. Like, it's genuinely okay. I can get through it. I just wish we didn't fuck it up as bad as we did. But we did. We're getting there. I just gotta figure out what's happening. And I'm figuring out her moves a little more. That move. That move, not great. Oh, shut up, Mary. That move, that one right there, that's the one. That's the one that sucks the most. So I know I was hurt, but I didn't think I was that hurt. A lot of the issue ends up coming down to the fact that this load screen fucking sucks. It takes so long. And it's like, I could go... There's not really anywhere else that I can go. I can go to the hospital. I am aware that I have been defeated. Are you aware that this load screen... Trash. Actually trash? Stop. We can go back to the hospital and check in, because there's new dialogue for Edgar and Lady Ashbury. And now that we've gotten out of the hellscape that was the docks, we can probably get there. I just... Again, like... It is unfortunate that I have to go to bed anytime I level up. Because that puts so many of the other quests that we're doing, like, it just advances them. And I understand, like, why. And I don't necessarily mind the going to bed advances the days kind of thing. I do mind that leveling up makes me go to sleep. It's just unfortunate, honestly. Let's do that. Let's get these. What else? It is hard to do it good when you're a vampire doctor. And it's like, I haven't checked in on anyone at the hospital in a while, so they're all probably, like, sick and not doing great. And that's unfortunate. What are you? Probably got so many headaches, and I can't fix headaches just yet. I'm not that good of a doctor. Can we... 110.99. No, the thing that we have now is still best. Can't level any of these up because I don't have the parts for them. And I never use that gun, so there's no point in leveling that one up. Refill all. Leave. Let's steal some more stuff.
It's locked.
Door won't open. It's locked from the other side. We are doing it bad. We are out of our field of expertise. If I go down here and go to the left, that'll lead us directly to the hospital.
Not a good place for a stroll.
Yeah, well, I'm leaving, sir. I am going. Door's been unlocked. That's the hospital, right?
Are you deaf? Over there!
You didn't say anything. Also, I'm trying to go. No, that's the fucking cemetery. Fucking hell. This is the way I need to go. Stop! But I was exiting the menu. Stop. That's the hospital. Here's Pembroke. It's stable here. Well, that's good, at least. Does... You've got a headache, you've got a headache, you've got a migraine, you've got a headache. I don't have the cure for headaches yet. I'm not
it's locked already.
That intelligent. I'm not actually gonna read that, but I have information for Pippa now. Yeah, stable is fine. I'll take it. It's better than hostile, that's for sure. Can we... Edgar, make everything better.
Jonathan, at last. I've been worried sick. Have you solved the case of our poor Sean Hampton?
Don't worry, Edgar.
You've been worrying
the
about
reputation of Pembroke Hospital is secure.
You've been
Sean
worrying
Hampton
about me?
was not the guilty party.
Well, he is a guilty party now.
Oh, good news. Good news indeed.
Okay, I found Harriet
Harriet
Jones.
Jones. She's much the same old, embittered woman she was, only she's been made a skull. Her transformation did not go well.
Alrighty.
Incredible. Why not bring her here? We could learn so much by studying her condition. It would be fascinating.
I don't think we should bring her here.
I doubt that.
Also,
She
thank
can
you for the
barely
lurk, Sam.
Perhaps we could learn more about the
Oof.
degeneration of skulls.
Fair. Get that packing
But
done.
she
You
could also
got
belong to a
this.
new
You
species.
got this.
We know so little of the laws that
Moving his
dictate
butts. It's
vampire
true. It's true.
reproduction.
But then you'll move, and then it'll be done, and it'll be better.
Were there
hopefully.
any studies made by your order on the subject?
You got this.
Not that I'm aware of. I will transmit your discovery to the Brotherhood's primate. He will be delighted.
Okay. Okay. Where's the Ascalon
What do you
Club?
know of the Ascalon Club?
Not as much as I would like. There have always been rumors about a secret society of vampires operating in the interests of the British Empire. Though I've never met a member.
It's the not fun kind of butts, though.
I crossed
Unfortunately.
paths with one, a terrifying creature going by the name of Fergal. He was sent by the Ascalon Club to exterminate the
Oh,
skulls
right,
of the
Fergal.
East End.
By the
We
stone,
killed him.
Jonathan.
We killed
If
him.
vampires are eliminating their own progeny,
It's
Then
like
dark times
moving
upon us.
is like
Darker than I've ever witnessed.
your butt after you eat Taco Bell. The Taco Bell butt kind.
Do you think Lady Ashbury would know of them?
I don't like Taco
Jonathan,
Bell
our
butt.
beloved lady is not one for social dalliances, nor the assemblies of dark orders. She's a woman of superior taste and selective acquaintance.
It'll come back around and it'll be a fine butt again one day, but
Does the name
until
Old
then,
Bridget ring any bells?
it'll be a little rough for a bit.
Never heard of her. Why? A patient of ours?
No, I love old
must
Bridget.
confess, I
Edgar,
don't know them
Edgar's
all.
Edgar's
No,
great.
It's just someone I recently met. A
She's great.
fascinating woman. I had thought that perhaps.
By the stole, Jonathan, you've met another vampire.
Like
I
that's
would
Edgar's
appreciate an
go-to, like
introduction, if that's the case.
excited word. Just by the
pleasure as
stole.
always, Edgar.
Yeah, Edgar, it's fine. Okay, okay. We still need to talk to Ashbury. Then see where we're sitting as far as our experience is concerned. We will not let him meet our sister. In fact, sister, I'm an only child. I don't know who you're talking about. No sisters here. Hey, Lady Ashbury?
It is good to see you again, Jonathan.
I don't think it
How
is,
are you?
but you know, it's fine.
I'm better than one might expect, Lady Ashbury.
No.
Dr. Swansea has asked me to investigate the recent disturbances in the hospital caused by skulls.
Really? What do you mean?
Hardly know her.
I discovered the most intriguing skull.
Alright, what's going on?
An elderly woman answering to the name of Old Bridget. And a man who helps them remain hidden.
No, Jonathan. No, Jonathan. He's not.
Peculiar name. I've
Sean
never
is not
heard of
helping
her.
them. I hope. Dear God, if it turns out that the slaughtering is what old Bridget wanted in the end, I'm gonna be very upset because I liked her.
According to Old Bridget, skulls can lead a peaceful existence like us. They are even able to nourish themselves by feeding on corpses and the flesh of the dead.
How vile. Please, Jonathan, let's change the subject.
Oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to upset your delicate sensibilities,
London have
ma'am.
gone into hiding. Both mortals and immortals plot their extermination.
Yes. Skulls are the orphans of the Vampire Society. They are the shame of their genitors.
Probably.
A disgrace to the vampire that created them.
It's just one of those weird situations where it's like, we know what's happening, but the characters don't, even though, like, he's seen it.
Around me, Lady
It's
Ashbury.
just like, ugh.
Something spies upon me from the shadows. Something
Don't look at
cruel
me.
and wicked.
Whatever do you mean, Jonathan?
Oh.
If Sean Hampton and Harriet were not the guilty parties, then who? I saw the bodies and the blood.
It was our sister.
Your rebirth has not gone unnoticed, Jonathan. Be extremely careful. If you get in the way of an immortal's plans...
Do you suspect someone?
I don't know, Jonathan. I steer clear of vampire politics, especially whilst hunters roam the city's streets.
Okay.
Goodbye for now, my lady.
Not helpful in the slightest, Lady Ashbury. In case you were wondering. Especially rubbish today, honestly. We succeeded in that. How did they find out the cause of death? Where did they fall? Which one is this? I've read the report of Dr. Tippett's concerning the death of Samuel Connor. I'm not quite convinced right now. Perhaps I should conduct my own investigation to determine the patient's real cause of death. I'll work on that, I guess. Track?
Last summer's epidemic was difficult.
It's pointing us off this way. Let's go! Gotta go down? I should probably look where it is on the map. Oh, I couldn't get down there earlier though, could I? There's a lot of blood back here. Hey, not the fart cloud. Not the farts. Okay, well that's handled. Easy peasy. Not even worried about it. This is the wrong way. That's Taco Bell butt right there. You're not wrong. I need to go this way and then hang a right. Okay. This way? Do I have to cut through here? This is going through the hospital. Hi, Devo. My sweet whiny boy. Whoa. Hi. Okay, yeah, this is kind of where I need to be, but I need to be on the other side of the building. Hi. Yes? Are you sure? Okay. Whatever you say, buddy. That's not what I wanted to look at. I wanted to open this door, but that's not allowed. How do I get over there? I got some garbage grease. He's just gonna keep crying. It's great. This is my boy, Devo. He likes to cry a lot. He just wants you to know that he's here. In case you were wondering.
It ain't human. Kill it.
Well, this is also a dead end. I also wish this map was better. Because the map kind of sucks. Do I have to, like, go down near the sewers to get there? Do I have to go down through here? Devo says, meow? Meow? Meow. We love you, Devo. You're a good boy. Ew. Oh, load screens. Bane of my existence. Is everyone else as excited as I am for Friday? I'm excited for Friday. Excuse you. Some screeching going on. Can I leave? Friday is my streamiversary. So we're gonna do an extra long stream, and we're gonna play the very first game that I ever played on stream. We're gonna play some Made of Skur. It's a neat little game. I'm excited about it. Get out of here. So we're gonna start at 4 Central. Gonna go 2 hours earlier than we usually do and not do an afternoon stream. And we're gonna play through it on hard difficulty. Oh, stop. Oh, stop. You silly stalls. These guys, much easier. A lot more easily handled. I thought I'd been down here and done this, but apparently not.
It's locked, all right.
Okay, let's...
Traces of a pinkish foam at the corner of the lips. Some sort of drug overdose, perhaps?
Okay.
Multiple abrasions and scarring on the arms and
Very
legs.
bright.
Old and distinctive injuries of a sailor.
Check for red seeds. Oh no.
The chest was originally open to perform the operation. The sutures are clean. But the chest
I feel
has been
that.
real-
I'm up at weird ass times, but if you stop by, we would love to have ya.
A puncture.
We'll be going for a
over the
long
left
while.
lung. Possibly a chest tube insertion.
It'll be great.
Not the cleanest work, but I think it was.
But no, I'm stoked about it. It'll be a lot of fun to revisit the game.
Signs
and
of
generally
internal
just
bleeding.
see what's going on.
So, Dr. Tippett's
Oh my
anesthetics were
goodness.
incorrectly dosed, causing
As long
the
as you're
patient's death.
resting, that's all that matters.
He tried to operate on him again. Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talk.
Oh, we gotta go yell at Tippett. I mean, there's a lot of nonsense happening during the day, so it's fair, it's valid. But like I said, as long as you get some rest at some point, because sleep is important. As an insomniac, it's not great. I would love to get more rest than I do, but not. Vampire friends. Okay, so we have to talk to Tippett's and Brannigan. But where are they? And why aren't they here with me? Oh, hi! It's not going great! It's... our cottage cheese boys have been having a rough time. How's it going? How are you doing? I feel like it's been a minute since I've seen you. I would like to leave. I would like to leave. Yeah, some occurrences occurred. We've had a few incidents. We let somebody live who was a little sketchy and who I even, like, expressed that I had concerns about. And then they went and turned the whole south side of London into vampires. Perfect. But yeah, the important thing, the thing to take away from this entire situation is that it is all entirely Sean's fault. That's all you really need to know about the situation. You like the routine better when it was deafening. I am scared to touch the volumes on any of the sound alerts now. Because occasionally when I change them, they will still be extremely loud or they will be too quiet. And it will change regardless of whether I have touched them or not. And that just makes me feel like I shouldn't touch them at all. They're gonna do what they want, how they want, when they want, why they want. Oh my god, some of the alerts, some of like the regular alerts are just too much sometimes. Hey buddy.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
You fucked up, bud.
Kokorin, I want you to tell me about Mr. Connor. How did he die? What happened?
He was my patient. He died because of my mistake.
We might.
That's
we
the
might.
blunt truth.
What was the
We
nature
just
of
might.
the mistake?
If not, we'll definitely, before the end of stream, we'll go
diagnosis was
eat
The administered dosage
Poet
was
Man.
too strong.
Oh, Tippett, you fucked up.
Stop practicing.
Are you mad? I killed that man, I admit it, and it won't happen again. I have saved so many lives since then.
Good clip. Good clip.
Who was this patient?
It was so loud.
Some sick man from the docks, maybe a fisherman.
My
I had no
goodness.
time to talk with him. No one claimed a body.
Okay,
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
then where is Gwyneth? Brannigan? Gwyneth? Ma'am! If I just screech, will she show up? That's how you get nurses' attentions, right? You just go, Nurse!
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Where are we looking? What is happening here? Tippett's
Tell me
medical
what Dr.
error.
Tippett did. I know his mistake caused a patient's death.
Again,
If I
so
had
dang
not
aggressive
covered
about
his
these
error,
things.
Dr. Tippett would have been fired from this hospital. I could not let that happen.
You can't allow your emotions to dictate your conduct concerning patients, Nurse Brannigan.
Look around you, Dr. Reed.
Oh.
Do you really think we can afford to lose a brilliant practitioner like Dr. Tippett's in our
Yes!
situation?
Clearly he's not that brilliant!
To clear Dr. Tippett's name must be the decision of Dr. Swansea. You can't take matters into your own hands.
I respect Dr. Swansea's authority and management, but he's no idea what happens here on a daily basis. I did what I had to do.
Excuse me.
I've
That's
decided that I
true.
won't reveal Dr. Tippett's, shall we say, misdemeanor.
I'm so glad you share my point of
I
view.
just...
Dr. Tippett's is a brilliant practitioner. We most definitely need his know-how.
I hope you're right.
Okay, but he made
This is a huge risk.
Oh, whatever.
Dr. Tippett's must regain his confidence. Please, keep this decision between you and me. He doesn't need to know you found out.
Oh no, I've already talked to him. Lol, I've
Goodbye,
already...
nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Ma'am, I already talked to him. Whatever. We'll leave him be, it's fine. I mean, Tippett's isn't great. I don't care for him, but he's... Whatever, it's fine. We only have 2,600 XP, which is still a significant amount. We could eat him. You're correct. We could eat him. No, we should go find... What's his butt? Reach the pharmacy. I haven't done that for him. Cadigan is dead. I don't know who that is. Also, I still stand by it being what's her butt's issue. What? That was our vampire hunter friend. Oh my god! Oh my god! I mean, I'm 100% gonna avenge him, but Jesus Christ! The entire district! Not everyone outside of the hospital, like, Whitechapel's still okay, and we've not been to the West End yet. But Jesus! The situation is serious. Here, though. I should go to Whitechapel and fix everyone there. God! Again, like, I understand that, like, my choices have repercussions. I didn't expect it to be cutting off like a whole dang fourth of the game, though. Yikes, yikes, yikes.
Ain't safe here for a gentleman. Over there!
I was gonna leave, but you wouldn't let me. I just want to get to where all my friends are, okay? I'm not here to fight. Hey, you missed. Jesus.
Lively! It's on to us!
Okay, but can I just have them all fight each other? I can. That's very good. Okay, I would like to cut across this bridge. And then we can go fix our friends. Good God. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to play this again and not not fuck over that whole district. Jesus. Can I open this?
I cannot enter.
No, it's locked. Hey, how are you feeling?
How are you, boy?
I'm not your boy, alright? Now piss off.
Jesus, Albert. Yeah,
You
now
need
we know.
assistance, please. Feeling tired these days.
Now we know that Sean is just a bad deal across
There
the
you go.
board.
Let's hope nobody steals it from you.
Very funny.
Right, Albert, calm your tits. Alright?
Have you heard anything about Nurse Crane?
Oh, Jesus, he had sepsis.
Yeah, I heard she's doing alright. Connected and protected.
Good, good. I'm glad that Nurse Crane is doing fine.
Goodbye, young
Sincera, hi! Welcome! Thank you for the follow, friend. How's it going? I just made sure that you're fine. Let's go heal some more folks, I suppose. Hey, how are you doing?
Good evening, my dear colleague.
Fair, valid. We love Fruity. They're great.
You look ill, Miss.
But yeah, how are you doing tonight? How
I
are
wonder if your
things?
concoction will do the trick.
I haven't doubted that. But I'm not against a second opinion.
Fruity is armed and ready to go. Here, let me give you some
Well, there
medicine.
have it. Take this remedy, but be discreet. It may damage your business otherwise.
No matter what we do, we're just getting shunned left and right. And
Goodbye,
it's
Miss Swanborough.
not fantastic.
Perhaps we'll talk again.
When
But let-
science fails you, this elixir will give you faith again.
There's a man. Hey, how are you feeling?
Good evening, Benjamin. Can I help you?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Reed.
Are you sure?
You don't seem well, Benjamin. Do you need any help?
I always feel ill, sir. It's like I'm never right.
Well, I don't have medicine for you.
I
I'm
will
so
see you
sorry. I'm
A gun,
so sorry.
alcohol, and a bad temper make a terrible cocktail, sir.
Jonathan's still over here just scolding this man.
Elixir will give you faith again.
Okay, where is everyone else? I know there's more folks around here who need meds and... Are we... Door's been unlocked. Okay. I love it when it tells me that and it's like, cool. I didn't even know it was locked. Is there somebody in here?
Hello, Mr. Petrescu.
Hello, Dr. Reed. Come on in.
It's our buddy! Hey, how are you feeling, friend? Can I give you some medicine? If you are feeling poorly, is it something that I can treat?
Do you need some help?
I am very tired, but that is
Sounds
all.
good.
I don't need
Thanks for
you,
popping in,
doctor.
though. We appreciate the lurk. Oh, he's got pneumonia.
Well, if you feel all right, that's fine.
Maybe.
Goodbye, Mr. Petrescu.
I mean, so that's probably, like, if I do a second playthrough of this, on or off stream, doesn't matter. I'd probably make the opposite choices that I made. So, like, if I came back through, I would eat Dorothy, instead of letting her go. Hey, how are you doing? Do you need any medicine?
Welcome back, Dr. Reed.
Good evening, nurse. How should I address you? Dorothy? Dorothea?
Yeah, I would
Miss
absolutely
Gray?
get on the
Dorothy
doctor
is
stuff
alright.
earlier, since
If you don't
I
mind me
now
calling
know
you
that that's a
Jonathan.
mechanic.
That's fine with me.
What can I do for you then, Jonathan?
I mean, maybe eat everyone. I can't treat her, so she's fine.
Goodbye for
Yeah, no, this definitely feels like a game where I would have to do it, like, a number of times. Because I would love to, like, try and make everything be as perfect as possible. And then do it just real bad and eat everybody. Just see all the different outcomes. Because, oh boy, did fucking that up make a huge difference. I can try to help. Hey, bud? No, that's Benjamin. Do you want to not dig in the trash? This is why you've got pneumonia, my guy. Sticking your face in the trash and hanging out in the rain all day. Bud.
It's locked, all right.
Won't open from this side. Okay. Oh, hi. Where is everyone else? Oh, I can probably find... someone who can read Braille alphabet. No, they're not dead yet. Where is... Bad Poet's in this area, isn't he? If I can... I'm gonna put a custom marker there, because that's the chapel. If we can get there, then we can find the bad priest and the bad poet. And there should be more people there as well, so I can treat everyone, and then maybe also do a chomp. On at least one of them. I don't want to eat both of them just yet. Hey, how are you doing?
Welcome, sir. Please, take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Oh, I've never met him
if you don't
before.
mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Do you need help, sir?
To be honest, I'd prefer you take a look at my stuff. I'd rather be rich and sick than the contrary.
Okay, well...
I don't quite agree, but I won't argue with you. Please, take this. You'll feel better.
Really? Free? Don't take it personally, but charity usually comes at a price. Human nature being what it is.
That's a good thing I'm not human
Goodbye
then.
for now, Mr. Lewis.
Oh no. Okay. You, buddy. Hey, friend.
You again? What do you want this time?
I want to give you medicine.
Expertise, Mr. Peterson.
Keep your medicines for others.
No, I think I'm gonna give you my
There's a thin
medicine.
line between pride and stupidity, sir.
It's true.
Please,
I gotta
take
keep
this
keep the herd healthy.
All right. I'll take it then. It's not like I don't appreciate the gesture.
All right.
Goodbye,
cool.
Mr. Peterson.
Is that our prostitute friend? It is. Hi. How are you doing?
Change your mind, Mr. Reed?
No. I want to make sure that you're feeling healthy.
It depends on the price of your medicine.
Here you
I'm
go.
shocked. You would think I am that sort of man.
Forgive my suspicion. I'm so used to liars with good manners. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can.
I love you. I should probably give
Good
him
evening,
medicine if he's not feeling
It's
great,
far
so then we can do a
better go, my son.
chomp.
So, are you still lost in your
Which means we'll go
rational
eat the bad
delusions?
poet first.
Don't you fear getting sick yourself?
Faith gives me all I need, my son. If I must fall, then so be
The
it.
bubble.
No doubt your faith will prevail, but let me give you some extra protection against the devil's work.
Don't you finally me.
Generosity, my son.
We haven't been over here in a while. I mean, we gotta end on a good note, right? I mean, we still got like 30 minutes of stream left, but like, we gotta do it good. Something nice has to happen. Hey, buddy, how are you doing?
Good evening, Doctor. Can I help you?
Do you need assistance?
That would be nice of you, Doctor. Who knows what I may have caught you in my investigation.
Take the
If you
medicine.
persist in investigating the most pox-ridden boroughs of London, you must accept the risks.
Thank you, sir.
He is the one with the sparkly glasses.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby.
It's true. Okay, how's everyone doing? You've got sepsis. Harry Peterson, where are you? I can't... I can heal you guys, and I can heal you, but I can't heal you. So where are you? Also, what terrible disease does Poet have?
Most of them
Because we might... I might heal him up, and then...
Hello again, miss.
Sleep, and then come back.
You don't seem to need my medical attention for now. Hello, Camellia. How are you, partner? Come on, girl.
No.
Smile.
Don't
you know
tell
Dorothy
her
and I have
that.
an agreement? We're on the same side. No? All right then.
I need to exhaust all the options, but
Very well.
don't do that.
Goodbye, then.
Don't do that. We love Camellia.
Whitechapel is not just disease.
Oh.
Good evening, Mr. Nethercott.
And good evening to you too, my good sir. Can I be of any help?
Yes, you can tell me you got a cold.
Do you need medical attention, sir?
It may be wise to let you prescribe me something. I don't feel like I should.
We'll give him
understand
medicine.
your appetite for work.
We'll find the other couple of people, give them medicine, we'll go to sleep, level up, come back,
The
do a
nutrition
chomp,
of
probably
my
end stream
mind is
there.
more important than my physical health. But I appreciate your concern, sir.
Man, at this point, I'm only
I'll leave
healing
you
you
alone,
because I need you to not taste super gross. You're still gonna be bad, but we can make it a little better. You know how it is. Okay, where are you? Oh, Darius, wait. I don't have a treatment for pneumonia right now. I can make it, but I don't have the supplies to do it. So I can't heal him, and I can't heal him. I need to find Harry. Harry is in his house, which is somewhere. It's nearby, right? It has to be. Oh! We like Harry. He's a cool kid. His dad's just an asshole. It's unfortunate that it works out that way. Isn't his house like right over here? Maybe.
I'm cheap and I'm clean, I promise.
Okay, ma'am. Where is his house? Here? No. I wish that the doors that I could interact with were on the map. Which I guess really does go back to the whole, I wish the map was better. There it is. Oh, excuse me.
Good evening, Harry. May I come in?
Sure. Sure. Even my dreams are soaked with gloom.
I think you said my dreams are soaked with gloom,
I'm not
but I
bothered.
definitely heard soaked
What
with
could be worse?
glue.
Do you need any medical help, young man?
Yes, I do.
You and cry of fear.
I don't know if it's the epidemic, but everything seems so hard.
Classic horror game.
You'll feel better with this.
Cool, I'm glad I'm not the only one who heard glue.
Medication alone won't cure melancholy.
I'm not sure I'm happy with the idea of living long in the world.
Bro, you had sepsis!
But I thank you for your concern, sir.
The fact that he's even standing while
Goodbye,
dealing
young
with sepsis is insane.
Take care of yourself.
My guy, please, 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 please take care of yourself. Yeah, there he said it. He said it again. All right, where is behind me? This way? Yeah. Yeah. I would like to go up there. And I would like to go in here. We can level up. Oh, but if I... Hold on, as I'm thinking about this. I get experience points for doing a chomp, right? So maybe I should go chomp on the poet now. She's really obsessed with sepsis is made from horse. Oh no. Oh, poor guy. Ugh. Okay, let's... I'm gonna refill everything first. Okay, no, let's go out. Let's go do a chomp. Because I would much rather get as many experience points as possible. So that we can level up and be prepared for the fight with Mary and dealing with Sean next time on Monday. Then not. I really wish this loading screen wasn't so long. Whee! Breaking our kneecaps. Okay. Ooh. Hiccups. I will save the priest for next time, though. So we gotta save some of these shitty people for later streams, for when things, again, inevitably just end up really bad. So that we feel a little better, because then it's like, oh, see, like, it's fine. We got this boy that we can eat, and they suck. You know?
Good evening, Mr. Nithicott.
It's fine,
And
just
good
eat
evening
better
to you too, my good
Not the
sir. Can I
knee
be of any
juice.
help?
Spongy cottage cheese damens the impact. No. Okay, let's go. Aww. Sorry you're not sleeping well. Well, welcome, Nate. How's it going? Let's fucking go. I can't get a good angle on it. That's unfortunate.
Death has no splendor.
Oh my god, Jonathan, no!
Oh, I see it now. I see it. Oh, the verses I could write.
We got like 2,000 experience from that, and I'm here for it. The cheese sacrifice has occurred. Delicious. Delicious cheese. It's a beautiful face. I love it. It's a good face. Fuck, now I'm getting greedy for experience points though, and I want to eat that priest. We're not gonna eat the priest yet. We'll save the priest for later. Because again, we will do it bad and we will need something nice for when we do it bad. And chomping on some shitty people feels real good. Okay, let's deal with this stupid cutscene again. Depending on how much we can level up, maybe we'll give the fight with Mary another shot. Districts are doing bad. Honestly, they're bad. The docks don't exist anymore because I chose to let Sean live, and then Sean decided to eat everyone. And it wasn't great. Aw, Tensera! Thank you for the gift sub! I appreciate it. Yeah, it was an update. It was a whole occurrence. We didn't like it. But no, seriously, Tensera, thank you for the gift sub. That's very kind of you. Okay, can we... That costs 500 to get, but I should start getting those. What are you doing? Thank you for the other one. Hold on. It says you've given 3, but I only see 2 notifications. What's going on? What's going on? Thank you though, buddy. That's very kind of you. My goodness. You don't gotta. No, never, ever feel bad for lurking. We really appreciate it. Just having people hang out, like, even if you're, regardless of whether you're active in chat or not, it still means a lot, and we really appreciate you just being here, honestly. But thank you. We do. We love lurkers here. We're just here to hang out and chill and have a good time and just be around, you know? Yeah, I just want to share spooky games with folks. And if you can actively be here, fucking awesome. And if you can't, that's totally fine too. We're just here to have a good time. 1,500, let's do it. I need that endurance. But no, seriously, thank you. It means a lot. And let's get some more health. That's important. I am fairly happy with those. We're only at level 18 though. That's fine. Well, that's the thing, like, we all know, I think a lot of us, like, acknowledge and recognize— oh wait, no, that's the poet. Okay, I was like, oh fuck, somebody died. I think most of us, like, know and also experience times of either needing to be away or not being able to, like, attend streams, or just being busy, you know, shit happens. But it's always like, and I mean, even if you didn't come back, it would be sad, but I get it. People move on sometimes, and that's okay. But it's like, it's always lovely to have, like, people show back up and be around. We love y'all. Try not to forget people. We're just excited to have you here, you know? district health is better with the poet dead. It's also because we healed everyone. Well, healed a lot of people. Didn't Sarah coming in and gifting subs to people left and right. Like an absolute sweetie. Yeah, he didn't matter. It's because we cured some folks. But I'd like to think it's because we did a murder on him. I mean, let's be real. The district is much better without him. Alright, what time is it? We've got 12 minutes until the end of stream. We can do some stuff. Shall we do some stuff? Yeah, Giggle came out way more menacing than I intended it to be, but oh well. Sometimes you just gotta roll with it. We spared the nurse earlier, because I thought she was doing some good work. I thought she was doing some good stuff, and I felt that she would do a good job here. And again, I'm so annoyed about the Sean situation because it's not, I didn't necessarily think it was a great idea to spare him, but I didn't think the game was going to immediately punish me and wipe out an entire district. I thought it would be a slow sort of situation. Yeah, I mean, like, I verbalized the whole thing. I was like, you know what, I don't trust him. He's getting way too, like, weird and preachy about stuff, and it's making me a little uncomfy, but if he's gone, maybe the folks in the asylum are going to, suffer and not have a place to sleep anymore, and they'll get sick, and then they'll die, and blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, you know what, we'll let him live for now, but the second anything sketchy starts happening, we will come and we will eat him. And then we leveled up and woke up, and all of a sudden Sean was the head of a cult, and all this bad stuff was going on, and we were just like, oh shit, everyone is dead. It didn't go well. It wasn't great. Let's head over to the cemetery. We can try to do... Oh fuck, she's not even on the map anymore. Won't you kindly... Hey, ma'am, you're not feeling too hot. Let me get you some medicine while I'm here.
Somehow, Dr. Reed. It's good to see you again.
Aww.
How do you feel?
It's good to see you too.
Physically speaking, I mean.
I don't feel good, Dr. Reed.
Oh no, definitely. I mean, like, I don't want to say it like made me appreciate it more. I definitely like the fact that the stakes are extremely high. I just wish that I had known that it could go so bad so fast, because I hadn't really done much in that area. I hadn't really interacted with a ton of the characters. I'd only briefly talked with the sisters and started figuring out what was going on there. And I wish that I had had more time to interact with folks there. Oh, unintentional puns. But no, I wish that I knew that it could go as bad as it did, as easily as it did. But now we know. And that just means I'll have to play again. Clever way to get me to play your games again. But, yeah. And it also wasn't great, just because the skulls there are extremely high level. And that happens, like, that area is where I stopped to level up, so I left the safe house, and it was a pain in the ass to get out of there. Needless to say, it was not a good time trying to leave, so I could go somewhere else and maybe level a little bit. Absolutely, just like life. Just like life. Also, yeah, no, and that's exactly why I, like, that's one of the big reasons why I'm so upset about it, is because, like, the interactions with the NPCs is the best part, and now I've lost a quarter of the NPCs. And it's unfortunate, because I wanted to know more about them, and I hadn't really had a chance to go there and explore a ton because I've been doing some of the other main stuff. Please stop, like, locking on to other characters. I need this man to die. This man specifically, I need him out of the picture. There we go. So yeah, overall, it's fine. It was just jarring. And then upsetting because I got trapped there and couldn't leave. Okay, we got time to maybe do a murder on our sister again. Let's go double kill our sister. Oh boy. Oh boy. Is she up this way? I think she's up this way. I'm still enjoying the game. I just... Wowee. It got bad fast. Alright, let's go kill Mary again. Shall we?
Slayer.
Okay. If you could stop with the cross, Mary, that would be great. Okay, she's gonna do her stupid little hurley thing. We're gonna boil her blood and back out of the bad blood vomits. That's not what I wanted to do. Stop, Mary!
Abomination.
Okay.
Rest in
That one wasn't too bad. That move sucks!
But not your own Mary.
Oh,
Your blood priest.
No! No! I was trying to keep him alive, but oh well.
Just to die for.
Shit! She re-healed.
Kiss me again.
Fucking hell. Mary, why are you like this? This is why Mom doesn't fucking love you. Stop! Stop! I only have so many fingers. God damn it. Thanks. I'm glad some people got it. Vines are my love language. What can I say? Oh, goodness. Oh, hi, Llama. I'm sorry I woke you up. I'm still a Vine junkie. Rip Vine. Rip Vine. Okay, let's try to do an actual murder on our sister this time. We'll try one more time, and then we'll probably end the stream there. Oh boy. Oh boy. Maybe we just eat the priest, like, immediately. Maybe we just eat this man. We eat this man.
Jonathan, kill him.
Ma'am, I'm stopping you from eating him later, okay? This is because you do a chomp on him, and I don't need you healing up at all. Alright? You got it, Mary? Blood Boil. I know it's not super effective against her. But I'm still gonna do it. Stop. Oh my god.
You left me to rot in this grave. Rest in peace, monster.
Let's do a stab. Stop. Stop. You have far too many attacks. Oh my god. What was this about Nurse Crane? What? I'm gonna try one more time. I know I said that was gonna be the last time, but I want to try one more time. Why is she so stupid? For real though? No, absolutely. The tell for both of those just way too similar. She starts getting all wiggly, and then either she, by the time that she would start vomiting blood, is when she explodes. It makes it a little difficult. Hard to gauge what to do. But when she's all wiggly like that, is a good time to get a couple of pot shots in. But not allowed, apparently. Let's do...
This is
Larrabee, chill.
I have this first.
I think I just need to wait until I see her actually start hurling blood. Honestly. Okay, I didn't want to look at that. I wanted to find some more rats, but this is fine.
Slayer.
Okay. It's true, it's true. I think I'll just have to wait to hit her while she's actually hurling, as opposed to when she's wiggly. I just hate the fact that she is as young a vampire as I am, and yet is so much fucking stronger than I am. Stop. She probably has. It's true.
You've killed me, brother.
Not quite. Okay, we're gonna eat this priest now.
Kill me. Revel in your true nature.
No, get out of the blood!
Assassin!
Right, are you dead now? Then stop whining. Are you gonna hurl again, maybe? Okay, that's... I think she wiggles for longer. Instead of starting to lean over, she leans up.
But not your own Mary.
Where's Crane? Who's Crane? Dorothea! That's Crane.
Rest in peace.
No! No!
Kinslayer!
I need more stamina! I need that little blood shield to stop.
Come to me, Jonathan.
Okay, let's blood explode.
Abomination.
Nope, 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 nope. Mary! Mary! Nope, 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 nope. Oh.
What have you done?
It's just difficult to tell. By the time I figure out what she's doing, it's already like too late.
Sean Hampton. Don't expect the same mercy from me.
Ma'am, I regret sparing Sean. It's neat that her dialogue is dependent on what I did, though.
Kiss me again, sweet brother.
I think at this point I'm fine with just poking her every so often. Stop. That's not the button I wanted. That's the button I wanted. Mary!
Rest in peace, monster.
You are just as bad, if not worse, than I am. Fuck off. Fuck. 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 Stop! My God!
Come to me, Jonathan.
Stop, Mary! I need 2 seconds! Fucking hell! Are you shitting me?
Kiss me again, sweet brother.
Alright, come on. Stop! Fucking shit, dude. Oh, we're so close. Fuck yes! We got it. Alright. God, that was rough!
Well, brother. It's time to bring this conversation to an end. Forever.
She got real heckin' mad. Dude!
No, I will not play this game.
It's just, it was obnoxious the way that she could just combo all those attacks without stopping at all.
Performing an autopsy.
Don't be ridiculous.
Okay, let's do it. Nope, let's fucking go. Let's just murder this bitch.
I'll kill them all. The kind Dr. Swansea. The sweet little lass with hair of red.
I mean, go for it. You can kill
Harbinger,
Ashbury.
Bringing your punishment.
Just leave Edgar alone. That's my boyfriend.
Don't you see? This is not me. Flesh that never ages. All nightmare. No dream. Bring it to a close. Let me sleep.
Okay. Are you gonna make me choose? Because I'll do it. Oh, no, you're just gonna do it.
I will find a cure, Mary.
Oh, God, no! Jonathan! Oh, okay. Okay, no, this is fine. Feeling a lot of things all at once.
At last, I can forgive you.
Rip again, sister. Murdered you again, sister. Oh, am I supposed to move? Okay. Jonathan's had it real rough the last, like, week. It's been not great for him. We just tried to fill the hole in her heart, right? I'm glad I finished this fight now. God, I can only imagine how obnoxious this would have been coming back to it on Monday. Steaks. A few nights later, got the achievement Hail Mary. Good way to end the stream. Assuming this loads and saves. Oh God, I need to stretch my shoulder. Jesus. Also, not a few nights later. Is this about the time that I'm supposed to find out that Sean is terrible?
As I shed one last red tear for my fallen sister, I realize the entire world now revolves around this singular word. The epidemic that has stricken London is not the Spanish flu. It is transmitted through the blood via violent biting, turning survivors into frenzied immortals. I am Dr. Jonathan Reed. I am a vampire, born anew into an age of death and pestilence. While plotting factions close in around me, I am sworn to find the source of this epidemic.
Vamp Daddy.
I am convinced greater perils are still to come. I know the answers I seek are hiding in our blood.
Violent biting implies that it's not consensual, which, in turn, would be a problem. Dear Dr. Reed, I hope this letter will quickly find you, for I need to speak to you as soon as possible. The situation is evolving very quickly in the West End, and I'm convinced we are all now in great danger. Garda Prewin has launched a great hunt in London, and for a few nights, they have been actively searching and killing any Ekon they can locate. Lord Redgrave, chairman of the Ascalon Club, recently contacted me. He wishes to meet you immediately. Please come to my mansion any night that suits you. We must discuss all of this. With this letter, you will find an official pass that will allow you to go through any barricade or quarantine checkpoint throughout the city. Your friend, Lady Ashbury. Fantastic. Sounds great, Lady Ashbury. Let's save real fast. I saw the save thing, so we'll call it quits there. And, yeah, pick this back up on Monday. Reminder, we have the Streamiversary stream on Friday. Gonna start at 4 p.m. Central, which is a little different than usual. But we're gonna long play Made a Skur again. And it's gonna be great and fantastic. And then we'll get back to Danganronpa this weekend, which we should be finishing that out this weekend, which is very exciting. Let's go ahead and set up a raid. There are the raid messages. Looking at who we've got online tonight. Nimbly is doing some Pokemon Sword and Shield. Calvyberry's doing some Button City. Smiley is doing some Life is Strange. ATM Zero is doing Phasmophobia. D-Fooley's doing Resident Evil 6. Obsidian is doing some Dead by Daylight. Do any of those sound good? Does anyone have any recommendations or suggestions of folks we should check out? Turn some music on while we plan and figure out what's happening. I kind of want to go hang out with Nimbly because we haven't said hello to them in a hot minute. But as per usual, I am open to suggestions or recommendations if people got them. We love Nimbly. We do love Nimbly. Let's go say hi to Nimbly. Alright, we will start the raid for Nimbly. Yeah, as per usual, thank y'all for being here. I appreciate you guys so very much. Yeah, I mean, I've told you the schedule for the rest of the week. It's gonna be great. Have a good rest of the night, all of y'all. Take care of your dang selves. And yeah, it was nice seeing everyone. It's been a minute since I've seen a lot of y'all, so having y'all here has been very, very great. Anyway, take care. We'll see you later. Have a good one.